Okay, so I'm out here working on the truck again. It's been a few months since I've done anything with it. I was going to start recording before I tore into it. I didn't get to it. I didn't think about it. I've already got the wheel off. I've got caliper and rotor off. Chilling where? Back here. And right now, I am trying to get my ABS sensor off, which is like an entire plate, right? Like it's all unbolted. The wire runs up behind here and sits up right back here, right? There is a clip and a wire, like a plug, right? It plugs in with a clip. And I could probably unhook that right now if I climb up above the truck and get through the hood. But this bolt right here, this little thing, is holding the wire. And either way, when I get to put the new one in, I need to run the wire up. It's literally just a band that holds around the wire to hold it up there, and it's screwed together with that bolt up there. So I need to find a way to get that bolt out. I mean, I tried just, twisting it and stuff with a socket, but the backside's spinning. So I need to get a wrench up there. I've got a crescent wrench. I've been trying to see if I can get the closed end on the back of it, but the wire itself is like blocking me from getting it up there. So I'm gonna go on Google real quick and see if I can find some sort of little workaround or something, because there's not enough room for me to fit like another socket back there or anything, or a ratchet. So I gotta find a way to fit this crescent wrench up in there or something. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So unfortunately, Google and YouTube have told me what I kind of already thought and was avoiding. That clip back there, basically the guy just said to remove it, right? He didn't give any information on how to remove it, or an easier way to do it. And then I saw some guy in the comments complain about the same issue that I am complaining about, and he said what he's going to do is what I thought I was going to do, is have to cut the wire, pull it out, then I can access the bolt. But that's making me wonder how, if I can't access the back of the bolt to unscrew it to take the old wire out, how am I going to access, like once I put the wire back down in the clip, how am I going to access the back of the bolt in order to tighten it back down to put the new one in? So I'm sure I'll figure that out, but I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to go ahead and unclip it, unplug it, and I'm cutting the wire and pulling it out and going to remove that bolt, and I'll see what I can do from there. Not really looking forward to figuring out how to get that back in, but it should be no big deal. And also, I'm going to take a step back and give you guys a look at where I'm at right now and what all I've pulled out. But yeah, so that's where I'm going with that. Anyway, just to give you guys an idea of where I'm at, I ended up pulling the wheel off, yeah, and then I've got the rotor that I pulled off. In order to get the rotor off, I had to take and remove this cap off the end, which gives me access to my bearings. Had to pull a cotter pin out, remove this little nut here, and then this is a like little keyed piece. I'm not actually sure the actual name of that, but that bad boy slid off, and that's just to keep pressure from that nut down on my bearings to hold them in place and everything. This is the outer bearing. It's a little cone bearing. That thing slid right out, no problem. When I removed the caliper before everything, these brake pads, I mean, they look like shit. Like absolute garbage, so. And then in here, this bearing's falling down in. This is the inner bearing seal and everything that I don't even need to pull out, because all of this is going to get replaced with the new rotor. I'm going to go rotor, slide the bearing down in, put the seal on top. It'll be fine. I don't need to replace any of this. But this is all the old stuff that got pulled off. Other than that, I think that's all I've gotten done so far. But I'm working on it. So I'll go ahead and I'll film it whenever I go to actually pull off the second wheel. But I'm going to go ahead and get this ABS cable unhooked and everything, get this off, and get back to work. So, yeah. Alright, so real quick, the new sensor plug looks like that. So it's got a little connector there, right? Like a little piece that sticks down in. That just goes down in the metal to hold it in place, right? So, found this out. You can access it from down here. I couldn't reach through the hood and past everything because my forearms can't fit past anything. like, I thought my dad was being overkill about his arms being big. No, I got small arms and I can't even get in there. So you reach back here, and if you just get up under the edge of the plug and you pull up enough, that pin will come out of the hole that holds it in. And you can see it right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and see about unhooking that now. Get that out. But yeah, just pull up on it and the little pin will eventually come out, and you can lift it up like this, and you can see the clip right there that you gotta lift up to unplug it. So all right, unplugged it and ran it down here. So I pulled it down through the back and down here. So it's just running up here and then back down along this and into here. So this is the only thing that's holding it on right now. And now that I can bend this back, I'm gonna try and see if I can get a wrench in this way. I can feel the back of the bolt right here, no problem. So I'm thinking I might be able to get a wrench in behind. I'm gonna go ahead and try that. So, little update. Had some complications. I gotta go to a parts store. I'll explain it in 2 seconds. So, basically, I was looking in the rotors and looking at my bearings, and then I pull out my new bearings out of the boxes. The new bearings that I have are straight. They're like cylinder shaped, right? Both of the bearings, front and rear, that came out of my rotors are cone shaped, meaning like these. Whoa, okay. There. See how they're like slanted? Both of them are like that. One's bigger than the other, but they're cone shaped. So the ones I bought originally that said they fit the vehicle, you know, same model, rear wheel drive, are straight bearings. They don't work. And as for the ABS thing, what I did is I did end up cutting the wire. So I unplugged it, I cut the wire, yanked it out, and the clip that was on the back of here, since I yanked the wire out, you know, it was no longer my way. I could get a wrench in there. I pulled it out. The clip or whatever, it's nothing more than a long flat piece of metal that is folded over on itself like this. The wire goes through the middle of it, folds over on the wire, and then a bolt goes through the top through it, right? It is slightly curved to one side, like the little round piece at the bottom that holds the wire in bends off to one side. It was like that round piece that was bending down was sitting down below the bolt, which was in the way. So what we did is we flipped the thing over and tipped it up. So now the wire is being held above the bolt. So now I can get a wrench in down here and get the bolt before the wire gets in the way. So yeah, fix that. I don't know why whoever put this thing together, I don't know if it was like that from the factory, but I don't know why they would have put the wire below the bolt, make it harder to access. But anyway, it's on there. It looks nice. Now I gotta go get some bearings. So I'm off to a parts store in hopes that they have my bearings, because if not, my truck is gonna be sitting here, and I don't want that. I need this thing done tonight. So I'll be back in a minute. What? Go all the way out to the parts store, right? Have them look up the bearings that are supposed to be for this vehicle. They pull them out, and I'm showing him the fact that the ones I pulled out were cone shaped, and he's looking at them and he says, huh, the ones that we're listing that are supposed to be for that vehicle are also straight bearings. I walked out, sat in my car, called my dad. We're talking about it, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, could it be possible that I have a different wheel? Like, the four-wheel drive model comes with a wheel hub, not bearings on a rotor. So it couldn't be that. I don't have a hub. I thought maybe they pulled it from the Sonoma, because the Sonoma and the S10 are the same damn truck. No, that doesn't make any sense, because the rotor that I bought new and the old one already have the little beveled piece in it. The old one having the bevel in it made sense because the bearings I pulled out were, beveled, like slanted. Those rotors, the new ones, also have the slanting in them already. I'm like, okay, so why is it that the rotor has the slanting and the bearings that are supposed to be for that rotor are straight? And then I asked my dad, I said, wait a minute, is it possible that slanted piece that's down in the rotor can be pulled out? Is it a race? Is there a race already built onto the bearing? That was the case. So we pulled the race off, and it's in here. Rotor's on, rear bearing and seals in, front bearings in, and now get to figure out how to tighten these bad boys down to spec, because I have no idea what I'm doing. So don't mind this. Don't mind this. I'll explain this in a second. So, torque spec for that bolt, it was like turn it down 200 pounds, right? Like tighten it down 200 pounds, full turn, like full rotation back, and then 50 pounds more. And that was the spec. We don't have a torque wrench. So I kind of just tightened it down, full turn back, and it was literally like, with a full turn back, it was finger like tight loose, like I could undo it. So tightened it down to where my fingers were putting it down, and then put about what felt like 50 pounds of pressure on it. So like a quarter of a turn. I mean, we've got a breaker bar that's like a foot long, so yeah, we did like a quarter of a turn, and I mean, it spins freely. What you're hearing right now is my brand new brake pads rubbing. It still spins. I'm assuming that little bit of rubbing is going to wear out just from driving. I might hear it for a minute. It's barely rubbing. Like, it rotates freely. Nothing snagging. Pulled the caliper, the old caliper off, and pulled the brake line out of the back of it. One of the copper fittings that goes on the one side of the brake line was like smashed onto the brake line, so I had to take a set of needle noses and sit there and pick at it. Eventually I got it to come off, so got the brake line hooked up in the back of it with copper fitting on the front and the rear. I don't know torque specs for that. I'm gonna be honest, I don't always do torque specs unless it's something like really vital, like engine stuff. Obviously I haven't had to get into that, but like even with my transmission, when I tore it apart, I kind of focused on torque specs the best I could. I just kind of tightened it until it's tight, because I assume it's going to be a high pressure line, or at least pressured. You don't want it to be loose. So I snugged it down with a ratchet, just as hard as I could. Not really, but like, it was hard. Yeah, I put it on there. So it's all on. It's good. Got the cap put on that and everything. So I just have to bleed the brakes, and I believe this wheel is done. It's taken me, what time is it? It's taken me probably 3-ish hours to do all this, but I ran into a lot of things I didn't know how to deal with. Ran out to a parts store to find out that I'm dumb, and didn't realize that they started putting the races on the bearings, and I didn't realize that they weren't selling them separate anymore. So figured that out. But everything should be hooked up. I just gotta bleed brakes, clean everything up with some brake clean so it doesn't, nothing's loose or like, slippery. And put the wheel on, and this side's good, and then I can hurry up and try and speed on the other, because it's 5:30 at night, and it gets dark last I knew at like 5:47 or something like that. So I should be able to get it done, and I don't mind working at night. It's just, it's getting cold because it's still February. Anyway, I'm gonna try and see if I can set my phone back and actually record the process of me doing the other one. I'm not gonna make promises because I don't really have a setup, but I'll try. But yeah, almost done with the one wheel, and I'm going to work on the second one here in a minute. Alright, well, just bled the brakes, got the wheel on. I'm going to put the lug nuts on, put the cover on and all that, and set it down, turn it around, and do the other side. It's getting awfully dark. I'm going to be honest, I'd like to record it, but it's getting dark. I don't know if I can do that, to be honest. I'll see. We'll see.